Okay, so what I've done is I've plugged the screen in, but I've just rotated it this way so that I can see what's going on, but the machine is still backward facing. And everything is now hooked up. It is now just a question of seeing whether or not it works. So I'm going to actually fire the car up. Just so I don't drain the battery. And let's see what happens. But part of the reason I want to do this is because I want to check that the backup camera works. Okay. So it's all firing up as it should. Well, it has been a night of moderate success, shall we say. Got all the wiring in, but no matter what I do, I cannot make the backup camera work. This is the cable that comes through from the camera at the back. This is the trigger wire. That quite clearly says on it reverse trigger wire. Sorry, I'm trying to hold that steady for you to see. Reverse trigger wire. I've wired it up any which way at the back. I've cut the wire and swapped them over, and it still won't activate when I put it in reverse. So I don't know what that is. And then in terms of the DAB, I've installed 2 apps on this thing because it is an Android system basically. But what I noticed was when I put the if you go through the user manual for the car DAB plus receiver for Android, it tells you what to do, tells you how to do it, USB to DAB box, which is what I have right there. And then it goes, there's the installation, yep, and then it says pre-installed DAB Plus app is necessary. And I don't have that. I don't have a pre-installed one. So I've downloaded 2, and I don't know, because it won't pick up any DAB inside here anyway, so I don't know if that'll work or not. So I'm playing with them now, and it's not making any difference. Where's this one? So this one tells me to do this. So that's not very helpful. It isn't the spankiest thing in the world. It's better than what was there, I think. But it's disappointing not to have the backup camera working. That's something I put a lot of time and effort to wiring and putting in, and to have it not work is a bit of a disappointment. I'm not. Oh, and also the steering wheel remote. No matter what I do with the steering wheel remotes, they don't work either. So that's going to require some thought, because I hate having these buttons here doing nothing. So all in all, a mixed bag. I mean, I haven't put it in yet, but it's just been a bit less satisfying than I was hoping, to be honest. All right, well, it's coming up on 1 in the morning, and I haven't been able to button this up because nothing works. The backup camera doesn't work. The DAB doesn't work. The steering wheel controls do not work. I get basic functions going on the stereo. I can get the CarPlay stuff going okay. Oh, excuse me. I'm so sorry. I'm so tired. I've been out here all night. I mean, I can get it to do basic phone stuff, but essentially that's what it is. It's like a mobile phone with a big screen attached, and it's just not good enough. It just doesn't work. Very frustrated, and many hours wasted, and all of this is going back. So after a very frustrating time a couple of days ago, I took yesterday off, and then I've spent today pretty much undoing all the work, taking everything back up, putting it all back in its boxes to be sent back. And some of that was quite tricky, you know, taking the DAB antenna off the windscreen, for example. It was quite difficult. Not difficult, but you know, just required the right amount of heat, and peeling it all off, putting it all back in. I couldn't keep it there. I mean, it didn't make any sense to send it back, but I couldn't send it back because the connection was entirely different. It's designed to go into that USB box that they sent with it, so it was no good to me. It's not a universal part, so that had to go back. And then this morning I did some research the last couple of days, and then this morning I relented and ended up buying a Pioneer stereo. It's a 360 DAB, which is about 400 quid. So that was 220 with all that. This is 400 quid plus 20 for the, well, actually I tell a lie, 410, and then 20 for the DAB, and then I've ordered a separate backup camera for a tenner. So all in, and then I had to get a cage kit for it because the standard cage, and now I know why. Yeah, so I got a cage kit, and now I know why the Alpine didn't have a cage in it, because the standard cage that you get doesn't, just extricate it from this box here, doesn't fit in the slot in the car because of these, you see these little indentations that are there. So it's slightly bigger, I guess, to allow for cooling. So you have to use an aftermarket. That Halford's unit sits in there just perfectly, I mean just barely, and the stereo fits into it very neatly, so that is ideal for that. But again, that's another 30 quid to it. So we're closing in on a 500 quid stereo installation, which is more money than I wanted to spend, to be honest with you. But you can't go cheap on these things, as I have learned to my cost. As installations go, this one is pretty full on. I've had to remove half the dashboard. Well, the reason I had to remove half the dashboard was I was buttoning it all up, and then I went to go close the glove box and it wouldn't latch. So it's this little unit here can work its way loose. There's a little cable that sits in here. I've now put some tape around it just to hold it in place, but that can work its way loose, and if that works loose, then there's nothing to catch the latch when it closes. So that was one thing. So that I had to take the whole glove box out to get access to that, because it lives up here behind the dashboard. While I was in there, I worked on the glove box light. It wasn't working, and basically all that had happened is these two wires had worked their way loose. So I'm hopeful now, let me just check, let me stick my key in. I'm hopeful now that, there you go, I have a glove box light, which I didn't have before. And so when you close the glove box, close, when you open it, open. So hopefully I can get that in without the wires coming disconnected again. And the other thing that I did, which I was really pleased about, if I can find it in amongst the mess of parts, is, oh yeah, they're over there. I got the CD changer out of it. There's a massive, and it's quite a heavy thing, the CD changer, and it sits in here in the back of the glove box. But what it's done at taking it out is given me an absolutely enormous glove box compared to the sort of rinky-dink thing that I had there before. So I'm quite pleased about it. There, by the way, is the new stereo, nice and simple and basic, and crucially, it works. But it's a full-on installation, getting the DAB in, the new DAB antenna in, getting the GPS in, and then the steering wheel module. You can see that there. So that's the existing steering wheel module that is for this car, and then helps that car talk to the stereo. Well, it doesn't talk to the Pioneer unit. It did talk to the Alpine one, but I've been in touch with the company in CarTech, and to be fair, they've been brilliant, and they've for a tenner I can get a patch lead that will hopefully connect that to that, so the steering controls will work. And if all that works, then I'll have a pretty badass unit, but it's been a lot of work. Right, well, I'm now at the point where I can start putting the stereo in, I think. I've got my universal cage in, and I've got the brackets fitted to the side of the stereo roughly where I think I want them to be. This will all be coming back out again anyways to put in the patch cable for the steering wheel control and the backup camera. But for now, I'll put all this in and test it, and then I think I have everything else I need. That's the adapter from the BMW kind of plug set up to standard ISO, which then plugs into the back of the stereo via this. That little green cable, that's hooked up to the handbrake, so that it knows when the handbrake is on. That allows it to you can use other functions with it. I don't know what they are yet, but anyway, the wire was there and it felt like the right thing to do. What else have I got? Oh yeah, here's my little module, the little steering wheel adapter module. I just need to get that patch cable and then that will hopefully then slot into the back. There should be oh, it's in here. There you go, steering wheel remote. So hopefully that then will slot in there and give me functionality that I need. A mute button there. I need to snip that. I don't know what that's for. That's my rear view camera will go in there, but I haven't got that fitted yet. And then everything else is ready to go. Radio, FM antenna, GPS. They're connected to the air vents. There's a standard connection to the back stereo. There is my digital radio. There's my USB. And the only other thing I'm missing is the little mic. So yeah, I just got to connect all those up, slot those in, put the cover on it, and then give it a bit of a test. Hopefully, after 3 days, that will be nearly that. Well, that's what the finished installation looks like. Well, I say finished, but I'm actually going to take it out again because, well, for one thing, it sits a little too far behind the shroud here. I'd like it to come out a little bit further, just so it's more intuitive to reach. But also my patch lead has come in for the steering wheel remote control, which is important. And also the replacement reversing cameras come in, so I need to install that. The other things I need to do while it's out is I need to see if I can figure out why the FM radio isn't working very well. The digital radio is working brilliantly, as is the CarPlay unit, which is the whole reason I got it in the first place. You know, we wanted to have that consistent sort of user interface that we have with the Polestar, and you know, so the Polestar is Google based, and so is this. So it makes a lot of sense to have the same system. I'm sure it could have made the Android system work with more perseverance and with your help, and thanks to everyone who offered me some advice on how to get it working. But ultimately, you know, what it comes down to is it's my wife's car, and if anything happens to it, ever glitches or they do a software update, it's a bit too open source for what we want. You just want something plug and play and reliable, and this seems to do that for us. Well, I say that, but I can't get the FM working on it. And the other thing it does, which is weird, let's see if it does it now. When I put on the lights, I've changed the setting here because if I put on the light detect mode on it, it'll just hopefully this will work. I'll do that. There you go. So if I put the lights on, it'll dim, as you can see, and then after a few seconds it flicks bright again. You see that? And it does that over and over again, and it's quite distracting. Now I've mitigated the effects of both the flashing and of not being able to have a day and night mode by using this map scene, this satellite scene on the display, but it's not ideal. But I don't think there's anything I can do about that. I think it's got to do with the crazy weird CAN bus voltage that this thing throws out.